I'm Alicia.
And I'm Maddie.
And welcome to the Fangirl Diaries, a podcast where we talk about our obsessions,
Reminisce about our teen icons,
and explore the books, movies, and shows that made us the incredibly nerdy 30-somethings that we now are. Hello, Maddie!
Hey, Alicia!
We're back.
After quite a long hiatus this time.
We're so back.
Yeah.
Our longest hiatus because...
I had a baby.
Yay!
My little baby. He's very cute.
He's very cute, but he's also very asleep right now.
Right.
So we have jumped on the chance to record this. We've basically barricaded ourselves in a room and soundproofed it.
Yeah, and if suddenly we hear him on the monitor, we will have to pause and start again during the next nap.
I feel like we should, if that happens, we should keep the sound effect in.
Yeah.
Just so people know. I'm sure lots of people listening to this also have babies because we're fundamentally talking to, I assume, a millennial audience like us.
Yes, it's what we're all doing at the moment.
Yep. And the thing that we are going to podcast about today has famously been the subject of a lot of discussion because despite being a kind of teen-oriented show, it seems to have really struck a chord with millennial women, which is us.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's like, well, it's set at university level rather than school level, but even still, we would have thought it would be a Gen Z / Gen Alpha even show.
And yet
here we are at the ripe old age of 35 talking about a teen drama. But, that's just us.
What are we talking about, Maddie?
We are talking about Off Campus.
Oh my God, I've been desperate to talk about this for about, I honestly think I watched it. When did this come out? Maybe in May? And I think I watched it the second it came out.
Yeah.
Immediately messaged you, just so you know, you need to watch this. And we're recording this, in July?
Yeah.
I had to remind myself of wait, okay, just let me just double check. I know all the names of the B-list characters. No, I do, because I've watched it about 11 times.
But at least it didn't take me as long to get around to watching as your last recommendation, which was The Summer I Turned Pretty, which took me 2 years to get around to watching. Whereas this, at least I did it within a couple of months.
That's true, actually. When I did suggest you watch this, I sort of assumed we would do a podcast on it in 2029.
Yeah.
If the current time frame.
Oh dear.
You were watching the end of you had basically caught up on The Summer I Turned Pretty by the finale episode.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, you were, how did you digest it?
In between or on top of feeding my baby and naps in between, I can't remember which weeks. I think we'd gotten through the crazy first 2 or 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then, in that period where the baby just needs constant either feeding or kind of lying there or asleep, and have it on in the background, and I'd watch it in chunks to make sure I could, when I needed to pause and go do something else I could. But it was a good feel good, nice thing to be watching, because the other things that I was watching at the same time was The Testaments, which is the Handmaid's Tale thing, which was really distressing. And so actually this was so nice to watch.
I consumed so much television, and we've talked about this loads. We both have babies, and when mine was really tiny, I just had to go back and rewatch basically comfort television, which this definitely is.
Yeah. This was much nicer. Yeah, the other things I was watching was not that, and it was a mistake. I was watching The Pit, which is set in an emergency room, and it's really high drama, really intense, blood everywhere, and I don't know what I was doing.
No.
Off Campus was this nice breath of just pleasantness.
Amazon Prime have been really giving us the content for the last 2 years. Maybe this podcast should be sponsored by Amazon Prime, or because I feel we promote a lot of their material, a lot of their shows. It was Summer I Turned Pretty, everything.
Yeah, true.
So I think this came onto my radar purely through my Instagram algorithm knowing who I am and what I'm about. And it turns out that all the time it's right. And it started advertising the kind of little trailers to me of this show, and the fact it was a book-to-screen adaptation. It was a kind of, to me, I'm just going to call it a teen drama, but you're right, it's actually at university.
Yeah, which means it's okay to have all the sex. Yeah,
exactly. It's just okay, Belmont Camilla is 28, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the kind of trailers and thinking, I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch that. And then was on family vacation with my 1-year-old. We were at Center Parcs. And I had been shifted into the kind of minuscule cupboard/box room. We'd left my husband at home to carry on with work. And it meant that I had been relegated to the tiny room so that Arno could have the nice room. And so it was sort of about midnight and I was still awake. And on my phone, I just thought, oh, you know what? I think that thing came out this week, that Amazon Prime show, that, is it Off Campus? Started it. And then literally Arno was waking up again at about 7 a.m. and I was just like, I think I've watched the whole thing.
Oh no.
Accidentally. And I knew it was happening as it was happening.
One night.
I watched everything apart from the last 2 episodes in one night.
Wow.
Or I think I got to the point where they had gone through their whole relationship, because you cannot get off the track, which is the establishment of the romantic relationship.
Yeah.
Like while it's establishing, that is so addictive that it's very hard to walk away at that point. But once they had been established as a couple, and then we move into the narrative of them having some tension as a couple, at that point I went, and now I'll go to bed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
What was your first impression of it when you started watching it?
Well, when you first mentioned it to me, I was like, what is it about hockey? Because there was that other hockey thing that got people really obsessed recently.
Oh, Heated Rivalry.
Yeah. And I was like, why is everyone suddenly watching TV shows about hockey? I don't know. But then I think, the first kind of premise is this like jocks versus like not jocks relationship thing that you're like, okay, is this going to be like the cool guy and the like not cool girl situation that we've seen a million times? And actually, it's quite different from like what you expect that relationship to be. It's like a more, maybe it's more mature in terms of like, I don't know, maybe more people are more enlightened nowadays. But it set itself up like a kind of like, I don't know, Ted Hughes 80s like, here's the cool guy and the like
slightly nerdy
girl. But actually, she's not really any less, I don't know, less high status than him. They've got this very equal relationship. And it gave me this kind of like, oh no, this relationship is like healthy and nice and positive in a way that a lot of the kind of equivalent dramas from our era or even before were sometimes a bit more like, could be a bit more mean and like catty school dramas and stuff. Whereas this was like a breath of fresh air, as I said.
I so agree. To my discredit, I put this on wanting genre television and almost wanting a sequence of tropes that I kind of knew I was after. And it really surprised me. I found it really fresh. So at the same time, it gave me everything I wanted from the sort of trashy romance genre.
Yeah.
But I was also repeatedly surprised, and I'm absolutely going to defend it as something that I think is really high quality.
Yeah.
I remember towards the end of our Summer I Turned Pretty sequence of episodes, I was like, it's art. It's just art. It's like high art. This is so important. Okay, an overview of what this is, because we always assume that everybody's watched this. And side note, really everyone has watched this. Like, I think within about 2 weeks, my sister had watched it. All my colleagues had watched it. Like, everyone was talking about this. It was a real immediate phenomenon. It was number 1 on Amazon Prime for about even, I think it's now just number 2.
Yeah, still.
Despite it being like half a year gone by. But the premise here is that it's set at university. It's at Breyer University, which has a very, very, very strong, you're right, ice hockey team.
Yeah.
You can never explain these things in a way that sounds serious. And they have a very, very good ice hockey team, the captain of which is Mr. Hotman Garrett Graham, who's a kind of future hockey star. He's the big dude on campus.
His dad was a big player, so he's got the like pressure to succeed, and
he's a nepo baby.
Yeah, but he's also very good.
He's also very good.
Yeah.
He's also very good.
Yeah.
And he's not doing super well in one of his academic college classes, which I think is like philosophy.
Yes, it is philosophy, because they keep talking about like Kant and stuff throughout the whole.
Yeah, it's actually hard.
Yeah,
it's actually hard. And he's busy. He trains. We've seen the training sequence. They've got sit-ups to do.
Yeah.
So he engages the tutoring services of our female heroine, Hannah Wells, who from now on we'll just call Wellesley.
Yeah.
And they enter into the familiar romance trope of a kind of fake dating, fake relationship scenario. She agrees to exchange her tutoring services for the kind of kudos that would come with him pretending to be her sort of pseudo boyfriend for a short amount of pseudo situationship.
But it was like originally meant to be to like make this other guy
jealous
and interested in her. And I was like, I'm not sure this like makes sense. Like,
what have to make sense?
Why would this other like musician dude that she's really like into? Why would he be more interested in her because she's dating the hockey player? Like, it didn't quite. That bit was like contrived, but it didn't really matter because that wasn't really what it was about.
That is right, though. A fundamental part of this is that she has had a long-term crush on Justin. He was like a band dude.
Yeah.
He's sort of a very different romantic lead from Garrett Graham.
He's not even that much of a lead. I really thought we were going to get some full-on like tension with him and like a full storyline with him as well. And actually, he kind of stays not very on the forefront for most of it. He ends up being not as interesting as the hockey player dude.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. I wasn't sure what the balance was going to be between the two of them, but that's what starts the fake relationship. It's interesting that you say you're baffled by the fact that that could work. This idea of creating a kind of jealousy and elevating your own sort of sexual kudos by having another guy interested in you.
Yeah.
And I just wonder whether we think that, like, it seems baffling to me as well.
Yeah.
And yet the premise of the show is that boys understand this logic. He is right. It does work.
Maybe guys do think like that, and I've like forgotten.
Yeah. And yet no man I know has watched this show, so we can't ask them.
Yeah, I normally can get Ben into these things, and this one even Ben didn't get into.
I don't think I even mentioned it to Luke until to my shame. I think I was rewatching it like the third time, and Luke really likes going to the gym, and he came in while it was the there's no justification for it really, the topless training sequence where all the boys are like working out in the garden.
Yeah.
And I tried to like make it academic, but I was like, Luke, are they doing the right kind of bicep curls? Like, what do you think of that guy's form? Like, who do you think here has the best like lat definition?
No.
And Luke was like, this is unforgivable. What is this? What are you watching?
Because I was watching it, like you said, you were watching it at night. I was often watching it like in the middle of the day, and it's been really like basically been since April. It's been really hot, so I'd have all the windows wide open in the middle of the day, and like our street has loads of kids that just like play on the street because we're in a really like suburban neighborhood, and suddenly it would go from like cute university college like drama to like quite intense sex scenes, and Ben would always walk in and be like, are you watching your sex show again? I was like, no. And I'm like, I need to like close all the windows so it goes, turn it down so the kids can't hear, like right in the middle of the day trying to it's quite
I'm watching my sex hockey show.
And
you're right, the second one of these, because we've already watched Heated Rivalry, or like these seem to be, I went from someone who knew absolutely nothing about ice hockey to someone who's actually quite interested now. Actually quite interested. It's like, okay, I really have to learn the specifics here. Okay, why did you enjoy this show so much? Because I enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed something like this much since The Summer I Turned Pretty.
I think it was that the relationships and mostly the main one between Hannah and Garrett Graham. But also like there's like there's like sub relationships and like their friends and things. Is that all of those relationships felt a lot more like natural and like
real,
realistic in a way that teen dramas often don't. And often we're not looking for teen dramas to be realistic, right? We're often looking for them to be a bit over dramatic and a bit crazy, like The OC or whatever, Gossip Girl. But yeah, it felt like two real people who were both neither like perfect, but also neither of them were like the villains or like the bad dudes or whatever, even though they might sometimes be put in that role in a kind of less good version of this show. And just exploring how like normal people kind of get to know each other and get to like have really strong feelings for each other in a way that was really truthful, which was really nice.
It was somehow relatable despite being extremely fantastical at the same time.
Yeah.
Fantastical in the sense of like wish fulfillment rather than it's obviously set in the real world. But I mean, where does Garrett Graham exist? Where? Show me this person.
But what was it that grabbed you then? If you're saying that this was like the thing that really got you, what was it that kind of hooked you?
It was, you're right, a kind of tangibility to the drama and an ability to think that I liked everybody from the beginning. Sometimes these things live or die, especially anything in the like romance genre. If you find one of particularly the primary characters a little bit annoying or a bit unwatchable, or that you don't buy their chemistry or anything like that. And it's almost a given that you have to cast leads that have chemistry. But then beyond that, to build into the drama, and I also appreciate this is based on a book, so we have to credit that as the original source material. There's so much about the development of the Garrett and Wellesley relationship. That's exactly what you're referring to, where they just do really normal stuff, where you think, okay, you have the more set piece, the party, and she's in the bunny outfit and it's a fake relationship. Is she meant to be a bunny? What was she? What were those costumes? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was bunny. It was just a bunny. Yeah, like a Playboy bunny.
The internet had to tell me in retrospect that I think he would like. What do you think he was? What's his costume?
I don't even remember.
Right? He was a magician. I thought he was a vampire. I was like, why is there a vampire and a bunny? I don't get it. Anyway, he's like the magician, and yeah, it does now. Anyway, so there's that kind of thing. Yeah, you're right. You just go, I accept it.
Yeah, I didn't even really.
I don't have to understand it, but I accept it. But then their relationship, even while they were friends, was things like watching bands they liked together on the internet and like talking to each other. And I actually thought it was really meaningful, which is when he got interested in like watching her on social media, which I know is a bit of a kind of techie. That's not as old school as we might want, but it just felt like something that somebody in real life would do.
Yeah.
That when you start to like someone, you do find yourself looking at their Instagram page or their, his interest in her, I think, felt genuine. And that even things like he got interested in the song she had recommended and liked it. All those things that form the premise of really liking someone in a genuine way, I thought were there.
That's true. And I think it also kind of managed to be set in the now without going too far into worrying about like everything being online and that kind of thing. Like they did it the right level.
Yeah.
So like you said, there is like the mention that she's put some of her songs on Instagram and he's looked at them, and there's this character that runs like a commentary channel about the hockey and is like the kind of online presence of their hockey team and stuff. And so it feels like it is set in the now. It's very present, but also doesn't obsess over that stuff too much, so that we don't have to be like constantly worrying about social media all the time.
Yeah, so much of what tech and social media has supposedly destroyed, which is people's ability to have real conversations, or I hate this phrase, but like to be present. All of that had been completely rectified in the show. It was like we were being shown excellent romantic and friendship-based communication at all times.
Yes.
Like the boys together in, albeit their frat house, genuinely have supportive, emotional, meaningful conversations with each other, as well as like running around and working out.
Do you think that is an unrealistic portrayal of current scenario? I mean, we wouldn't know. We don't know people who are like 20 years old right now. I mean, I have a few cousins, but like,
what do they like? What do they do?
But do you think that's unrealistic, and therefore this show is like some kind of like idealistic version of what they could be? Or do you think perhaps no, there really are male friendships like that now, and that it's showing it may not be that everybody is like that, but that it is showing that there can be a positive way to live in this kind of slightly fractured world, and that it's just showing a positive part of being a young person right now that does exist.
That is such a good question. And I don't know, because you're right. Like, our experience now of university, at which we were together, seems so far.
Yeah, it's like 15 years ago.
Yeah. And it certainly wasn't the one that's portrayed on the screen.
No.
And I think maybe part of the whole wish fulfillment thing is that they just live in this like positive bubble of like camaraderie for the sports team, and Hannah and her friends are all involved in the drama society, where there could be a whole TV show about how it's all really competitive and they're all really bitchy with each other.
Yeah, there's basically no bitchiness. And that was like
none.
The whole of what our versions of these shows were about, was about the bitchiness and maybe overcoming it eventually, like with Mean Girls or whatever. But the premise was school is going to be bitchy and horrible, and you've got to survive somehow and get through it.
Yep.
And that was like not what this was about at all.
Oh God, it's so true, actually. If you look at the diet we were fed, like perhaps an extreme example of this would be something like 90210, or we were really into the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
And you have like red flag men, girl on girl anger and bitchiness and manipulation.
Yeah.
And then in this, all you have is like multiple green flag men and who are good communicators and who are supportive of each other. Yeah. And women who are lifting up other women, friends.
Yeah. It's so nice.
It's so nice. So perhaps part of the wish fulfillment is, wouldn't it be nice if there was a hot hockey player? And the other part is, I just wish some of my friends text me being like, I just want to go back to university.
Yeah,
that one. Specifically that one.
And I guess, the thing that we can't answer because we don't know is that more representative now of how people are at university?
I really hope it is. If you're 20 and that's your experience, can you please tell us?
Yeah, that would be nice to hear.
I feel like I'm going to be cynical about it and say that it's not.
Yeah.
Because this show was definitely anticipating a female audience, as verified by everybody we know.
Yeah.
So it's definitely through a like female lens. And I also love, as a side point, I love how it calls itself out on that. Like the first opening sequence is a woman looking at a hot naked man.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it immediately from the beginning turns the trope of like women's bodies being exposed and sexualized on screen.
The female lens rather than the male gaze.
Yeah, the first thing we see is basically naked Garrett Graham.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I'm so going to watch this show. I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. My vote would be that I don't think that represents the experience.
But perhaps if shows like this exist, and even something like The Summer I Turned Pretty is not dissimilar in having like positive men.
Definitely.
If that is more common, then maybe there is hope.
Yes.
If people are watching this and seeing representation of guys that are like that, and maybe there is hope.
There's been so much commentary on both when Conrad was a really big deal last summer and on Garrett Graham about these being really important like male role models.
Yeah.
And that especially for like, we've talked a lot about, we used to really fancy, and the kind of diet that we were fed in the 2000s was these like enemy style men, as in these like the bad men,
the bad guys,
bad guy,
the, like Doc. Yeah.
Now I feel like we're seeing a lot of like husband material. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's really shifted.
Yeah.
Like there is no like hot bad guy in Off Campus.
No.
But there's like,
I thought maybe the musician was going to be that, but even he wasn't that.
He seemed really respectful and nice.
Yeah.
Great.
Maybe this is why it's appealing to us in our 30s and not the people who are 18.
I think that's exactly right. That is a very like warm, comforting show, and yet highly sexy.
Yes.
So it's the bringing of those two things together, whereas I feel like there was so much of this sort of content put out in the 2000s where for something to have like sex appeal as a show, there had to be enemies to lovers, the bad boy, some sort of element of like the woman not really wanting to be in that relationship, but they found themselves drawn to them.
Yeah.
This is like two lovely, people of high emotional intelligence consensually agreeing to be together.
Yeah.
And yet, it's extremely hot.
Okay, why don't we talk about some of the characters that you found most interesting?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to save some for the thermometer category.
Okay.
Because I know that is coming. I really enjoyed Mika Abdullah's character, Ali. This is also the great strength of a show. If a show is going to be genuinely really good, I want it to be strong as an ensemble piece.
Yes.
Rather than just that there's two engaging characters and everyone else is just kind of there.
Yeah, you need more than one plot going on and you have to be engaged with them. And those characters therefore need to have meaning to you as well.
Yeah, they need to have meaning and they need to be just as engaging. Like, I really enjoyed the like My Fault series, the like My Fault, Your Fault, like films. But really, it was about the two protagonists and everyone else is pretty sidelined in any sort of meaningful way. Whereas I feel like if you're casting off campus, everyone was given so much time to shine as a character. I really loved John Logan. I liked Ali, her friend, who I thought didn't feel like she was relegated to being like the friend that the main girl talks to. And of course, she then has her own equally interesting storyline. Like, I just think some people enjoyed that even more.
And I was going to mention Dean, the blonde guy that she has like this thing with. At the beginning, I just thought he was like one of the random like hot hockey players that was. I mean, he also looks like he's about 30, but never mind.
It's 28. It's like when we were at My Chemical Romance and you were like, how old is Gerard Way now? And I was like, he's 49. I've checked his phone.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. But like he was at the beginning, like in the first few episodes, he was just one of the like lineup of hockey players. You know, like there's the blonde one, there's the other brunette one, there's the like main one, there's the like funny one or whatever. Yeah. And he was like the blonde one. And then, but by the end, he was like real interesting guy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's genuine depth to all of them. And it's not the Bechdel test because that's more gender related. But there were things where like, those guys, who again are the sort of subsidiary characters a little bit, had screen time and conversations with each other without the protagonists being in the thing. Yeah. Or like Ali had that scene in the shower with Sean and her. Yeah. So they were given time to stand alone in a way that just doesn't happen in so much television, but does in the ones that we think are quality.
Yeah, because
like The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Yeah, and I was thinking it's almost like something like I've already mentioned, the OC, where you had like a whole load of different characters that all well, I guess you mostly only had 4.
No. It's one of the strengths of the OC. We said we liked watching Sandy and Kirsten.
Yeah, true.
As much as like we liked watching Julie Cooper.
Yeah.
That's why it's good. Whereas there's some television of a lower quality or films where if the protagonist and if plot A isn't on the screen, just gonna like fast forward. So on to our thermometer category.
That's like the main one for today.
It's just like, I feel like that's the category of relevance to this.
Yeah.
We sometimes even talk about things like obsession fuel, but to be honest, we've started this episode by talking about just how nuts everybody has been about this. So, okay, the gratuitous stuff, the hotness level. Maddie, how hot is off campus?
Look, I'm going to call it a strong 85 degrees.
I thought you were like full out going to go 100.
I feel like that's what you're going to go.
I'm not. I'm going to go like 95 because I do think this is one of the hottest television shows of the year. But it doesn't have the like long term, like these are characters you've watched for 10 years. You really want these two to get together depth to it that say like Buffy does. So when hot stuff happens at the end of Buffy, I'm like, oh, Spike and Buffy, it's already been like 3 years. We need this to happen.
Yes.
Or The Summer I Turned Pretty, that dragged it out for 3 years. This I watched in a night.
And it almost felt inevitable that they definitely were going to get together, right? Whereas in a lot of things, it's like, will they, won't they? Is there going to be some tension that causes them to fall apart? This, you never really had any like doubt right from the beginning of the whole like, oh, let's pretend to be together. You're like, they're so good for each other and they were so lovely together. You were like, we're just watching to see how it plays out and how we get there rather than like actually being like, oh my God, is it going to happen or not? It was like, yeah, it will, because they both clearly have such a strong interest in each other and like such personalities that went well together.
I'm going to need you to give me hottest character in your opinion and hottest moment.
I think Garrett Graham's the hottest character. I'm all for the main character in this one.
So do I.
Yeah, I'm just all for. He was just like, yeah, definitely just top tier, like hot in a very traditional way, like in a kind of like he's like standardly good looking in like a very a kind of like not in our one of our weird like, oh, this guy's kind of interesting or weird looking kind of guy. No, he's like classically good looking. But it's the classic good looks and the whole like hockey fitness thing paired with what we've talked about with him just having this like positive, really kind and nice personality. And they try and like make out nearer the second half that he's got like some internal dark side because his dad was like violent to him.
He's
and
got trauma.
He might be violent. And it's like, no. It's very clear that you are not a violent guy. You just have like a dad that was not very nice and you have managed to kind of be a good guy despite that.
Actually, isn't it interesting that we've been saying how warm and positive and happy this whole show feels? But actually, it genuinely deals with quite a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Like Wellesley's trauma of like sexual abuse and like she was horribly attacked and all of this. Is a huge part of it. He sustained like domestic violence from his dad, all of these things. They are both like incredible survivors of terrible trauma.
Yeah.
And yet, even their process of dealing with that was done in a very positive way. And I'd love to hear someone's perspective that actually is really able to relate. I recognise that I'm not. But I thought that was all dealt with really well.
Yeah.
As part of the show. And didn't feel like it took it to it didn't change it tonally.
It took it seriously, but they still stayed as like, even when there were mistakes made in communication, it didn't last and cause harm in the way that in some shows it might. It was like not used as a reason for them to like be nasty to each other or to like ruin their relationship. It just helped them to create a stronger bond in a way.
Yeah. What do you think was the hottest moment of the whole show?
I don't know. I don't have a single like a one moment.
I can see Maddie really thinking about this.
I'm like, I watched this thing in a haze. I'm not sure I have one.
Okay, I'm going to give you some and then you can remember.
Yeah. I'm obviously thinking of like the one where they like were going to have sex as like a thing to help her get over her issues with having sex. And it was like, and then they didn't. And that was very nicely done. And it was hot, but I wasn't 100% like convinced that was like the hottest moment.
Yeah.
There was a good kiss, I remember. When was that?
Are you thinking about their first kiss in the gym?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
the first kiss.
That to me was when I thought, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
And the chemistry between these two is really good.
Yeah.
And it was the navigating of like, okay, what are the parameters of their relationship and do they actually like each other beyond the fake dating arrangement?
Yeah.
And the kiss in the gym to whatever, you sound mad talking about like the kiss in the like weight room.
Yeah.
The premise is all this athletic stuff. I thought was super, super hot. That was definitely one of the best moments. I also found this show incredibly funny.
Yeah.
Like I actually found it pretty hilarious at times. I thought there was better comic acting from some of these, like across the whole cast, than would necessarily be expected in a sort of romance drama.
Yeah.
I loved how the boys sort of tease each other. I will never stop talking about when Dean volunteers Garrett to be in Drunk Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. And he stands up and he calls out like, pick me, Garrett Graham, I want to be in the show. He like volunteers his friend. Everything about it, I thought was funny, sexy, well developed. I also think Dean and Ali are hot. but I had sort of sold my heart to Garrett Graham at that point.
Yeah, I agree.
I like couldn't be distracted.
You were also like kind of obsessed with the like other guy that's like a minor character, and then we watched him like in a musical.
Oh yeah.
Who's that guy? Tell me about this guy.
I'm sure everyone else has taken this journey as well. So the off-campus musicals Venn diagram is worthy of study.
Yeah, it's kind of intriguing. There was a lot of musical theatre references in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And, like, somebody on that script writing team must have been a musical theatre person.
I feel like this show was completely built for us because it was, yes, Hannah is positioned as the sort of more academically engaged one of the two, but she's fundamentally a music major.
Yeah.
And that department seems really integrated quite naturally within the drama department.
Yeah.
And so it felt like half of the drama was situated in the hockey arena and changing rooms and showers and gym.
Yeah.
And the other half was in the kind of drama and music building.
Yeah.
I felt like I was half in High School Musical while watching this, but at like a kind of college level.
Yeah, they didn't really break out into as much good singing as High School Musical. But...
No, apparently we might get some more of that in season 2, but anyway. Yeah. But John Logan's character is played by a guy who is a musicals star. And I absolutely really fancy him. I loved the fact that his crush on Hannah, again, wasn't seen as something where he was going to like undermine his mate or kind of try and ruin their relationship.
No.
He was just acknowledging that he awkwardly also has feelings for the girl his best friend currently likes. Yeah. And it was done in such a like tender way.
Sweet way.
And I thought, I love you, John Logan. I'm sure there's someone for you. Don't worry. They're coming.
All right. How about the obsession fuel tank then? How full is that?
I feel like I did nothing but rewatch this show and reels about the show and commentary about the show. And like, you know, when you get your suggested reels on Instagram feed, in like peacetime, it shows me a variety of stuff from like the 8 different things I'm interested in.
Yeah.
When I had just watched Off Campus, it was all it showed me. And I was just like completely in that rabbit hole. The obsession field is massive. They're currently filming season 2 in Vancouver. Lucky Vancouver. Just imagine those guys like walking around your town.
They always use Vancouver, don't they? I feel like everything is either filmed in the UK or in Vancouver.
Or somewhere in Canada.
yeah,
all the time. That's absolutely right. I'm also extremely jealous of... How much do you know about Ella Bright?
Nothing.
Oh my gosh, Madeline. Okay, so do you remember when we were 18 and we were like doing our A-levels and we were just sort of deeply nerdy and just like in our little all-girls school? Okay.
I kind of remember the time, yeah.
So imagine like literally revising for your A-levels and midway through you get on a plane to go to a casting where you are doing a casting opposite Belmont Cameli, who, it has to be said, is 10 years your senior. You get the job, and then you go from... You know, she went to a GDST school.
Really?
Yep. She went to Southampton High, which is basically like the same as our school.
Yeah.
It's like literally like one of me... It is literally the same as me or you finishing our A-levels and then going to star at Off Campus.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Crazy. And I only realised that afterwards because I think her ability, she's playing above her age and it's really impressive. I feel like a lot of the time it's very normal for actors or actresses to be cast in such a way where they're playing younger.
Yeah, and all of the guys look way older than the characters they're playing, right? They all look like they're late 20s, if not even 30.
Yeah. But you don't normally see somebody who is 18 cast as somebody who's meant to be about 21.
Yeah.
And I thought she did a really, really, really good job of that. So I'm the kind of person that's got into all of like the casting. How much do you know about Josh Houston and the whole Xaden Fourth Wing drama?
I feel like you've mentioned this in passing to me, but no. I mean, I'd say my obsession fuel tank has clearly not been as filled as yours.
You have a very young baby. I have had a little bit more time. But this is going to be the thread that continues because we know that Fourth Wing is being cast. It has probably already been cast. It was probably cast months ago. The next big podcast sequence we're going to have to do is when Fourth Wing comes out on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
We've talked about the books. Fellow listeners, please go back and listen to our Fourth Wing episodes.
We're behind on like the follow-up books. So
that's right. We recorded book 1 and 2, didn't we?
And then we sort of
Storm. That's right. We haven't. That's a note to us. But But that show lives or dies on the casting of Xaden.
Yeah.
And it was very much being heavily suggested that that casting has gone to Josh Huston, who plays Justin.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people were sort of ambivalent about this until Off Campus is released, in which, like, somewhere, I'm just going to say it, whoever is Josh Huston's agent has fucked up. Because they encouraged him or allowed him or just didn't kind of say, hey, maybe think about this, to take on a role in which he sort of like loses sexual capital. Like, and he ends up being the guy whose fundamental role is to not be fancied.
Yeah.
Or like he goes from being fancied to like...
It shows that he's not that interesting actually later in the series. Yeah.
Yes. And now obviously you have to separate actor from role.
Yeah.
People get so into this kind of stuff that I noticed as soon as Off Campus was out, the internet was just flooded with people saying it can't be Josh Huston for Xaden. Like, he's just not charismatic enough.
Sexy,
He's not sexy enough. He's not hot enough, which, by the way, must be so shit if you're Josh Huston. But it seems to have really affected either the announcement of that casting or I don't know if they're recasting it. And of course, everyone piles in going, but Belmont Cameli could do it. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's because that's the role he's been given here. So, and they're both being done by Amazon Prime. And there's a suggestion that quite a few people in this are going to be lifted directly into the Fourth Wing cast.
Interesting.
So there's been a lot of kind of Fourth Wing off-campus chat. And then for the deep rabbit hole nerds, I won't get into now. I'm pretty sure everyone has followed the Mika Abdullah, Josh Huston burgeoning relationship on the side of off-campus. Because it wouldn't be teen drama if your cast weren't getting together.
Okay, yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense.
What are you hoping for in season 2?
You know what? When I watched it, I almost felt like, and I think this is probably because it's based on a book, but it felt like such a like contained story and closed story that I was kind of like, is there even going to be a season 2? Like,
big time.
What would happen next? Like, like I don't know. I feel like that was a good, but I think that is because it's based on a book, and the book did have a story and a plot that ends, and so then I have to kind of leave it to, you know, the TV gods to work out what is it that people want to see next. Based on a second book, based on following up on subplots and storylines that haven't been explored yet. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like, this feels done. So I'm interested.
I would be interested to see how much more mileage there is in the Wellesley-Garrett Graham relationship. But I think the structure of it seemed really clever in that we're clearly each season going to pivot to having a new relationship build in focus. But so that it doesn't feel too jarring and so that we're not asked to like completely understand a new couple every season, they seem to have built in a kind of up-ramp where we had a third of this season watching Ali and Dean, who are clearly then going to transition into the main focus, I think, of season 2.
I feel like even their story we've seen quite a lot of. Like, I don't know.
I think we're going to get more John Logan next season. I don't know effectively, but I like that they're not asking us to do a complete kind of, you know, right-hand turn and be like, okay, you've completely invested in Hannah and Garrett. Here are some people whose names you don't know.
Sure. You're thinking it's like a kind of Bridgerton style.
Exactly.
Like, let's choose another couple, but based on characters we already know.
Even I would say even less, not jarring than Bridgerton, but Bridgerton, you often know who's kind of coming up as the next couple.
Yeah.
But sometimes you've not actually really seen them interact like
No, often
that much.
One of the characters is new and the other one is part of the Bridgerton family. So,
the Canthony season, which is like the canon season, in my humble opinion. That's my favourite one. Oh my God, why have we not done Bridgerton? Sorry, side note, we need to do that. I was kind of feeling like I was engaging with them properly for the first time. She was new, wasn't she? Like Anthony, we know, but yeah. And in this, it was as if there's more of an up-ramp. So I'm excited for season 2.
Excellent.
The biggest thing I want them to do is release it week by week.
Yeah.
Just to protect myself.
Yeah.
Just to be like, I just can't watch it all again in one night. And I miss the collective viewing experience of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I'm like 99% sure Prime are going to drop it once a week. Will you be watching?
We will be there, and I'm sure we will be back on the pod when it comes out.
You've been listening to the Fangirl Diaries. Follow us on Instagram at Fangirl Diaries Pod.
And do share us with any of your friends that you think might enjoy the podcast, and rate or review us on Spotify or Apple Music.